Hi, I'm Jared Trayers, and this is my second movie review. I should note that I'm planning, and I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work out, but I'm planning on doing a third review in sort of drunk history style. Long and short of it, I'm going to get drunk and do a movie review. So be prepared for that, and it should be a little bit better quality than my last couple of reviews, including this one. So, today I'm reviewing Joe Carnahan's latest film, Stretch. Some people might know Joe Carnahan for doing the movies Smokin' Aces, Narc. One of his more recent ones is called The Gray with Liam Neeson. And the first thing, I just watched this movie, and the first thing I gotta say is I think this movie is Joe Carnahan's best movie that he's made so far. And that's saying something, because The Gray was a very good movie. Smokin' Aces is a very good movie. But I think this one is the one that really sets him apart as a director. You know, if you look at a film like The Gray, and you say, oh, Ridley Scott could have directed that, or, you know, some other director could have done that. I have no idea who this Joe Carnahan guy is, right? And then you look at a movie like Smokin' Aces, Tony Scott could have done that, John Woo could have done that, right? Well, then you look at this movie, and it has all the different elements of his other films too, but everything comes together very well for his own style. I think he's really made his mark with this movie. It's lesser known. It didn't have a theatrical release. It's on Netflix now if you want to watch it. Very, very funny movie. Very well written, and you know, it's taking a story that, it's kind of hard to grasp at first. It's a story that could have gone horribly. It could have been incredibly boring. It could have made no sense whatsoever. But I think Joe Carnahan really crafted this story well and got the right actors for this movie. So the movie is about a guy named Kevin, who everybody calls Stretch for some reason. I don't know why. And one of the things I really like about this movie, and this goes for all films, if you can really capture my attention with the first shot, then you've got me. And in the beginning, the first shot we see is of Patrick Wilson, his car being crashed into, being T-boned, and him being thrown out of his the window of his car. And it's great because he doesn't, like, you know, crash all over the place and break a rib. He just kind of like tumbles backwards and then sits up, and he's sitting up next to a car, and the guy notices he's kind of drunk looking and has some cocaine on his upper lip, and he's like, "Are you drunk?" And he says, "Not anymore." But anyway, Stretch is a guy who is down on his luck. He is a guy who supposedly had everything, and you know, beautiful girlfriend, moves to LA to become an actor, and within about a year his life just goes to shit, and his girlfriend leaves him, and he is not doing well in Hollywood. He's a limo driver, and basically he's this is a mistake of mine. I probably should have said there's going to be spoilers, because I'm going to spoil the whole goddamn movie, so just be prepared for that. But anyway, Stretch is down on his luck, and he's stepping in on this day of work, and his boss is like, "We need to buckle down. I've given you chance after chance." It's almost like you want to get fired, and in some sense he kind of does, because he really hates his life. And so he is first set to go pick up David Hasselhoff, which, by the way, there's like 5 or 6 celebrity cameos in this. The Hoff is one of them, playing himself. Which, by the way, it's only like a short piece of the movie, but the Hoff has a great little monologue. It's terrifying, but it's great. And he's there. Something happens where he ends up being an hour late. And he loses Hasselhoff to the competition, to this guy that they call the Jovi. And his boss is like, "You fucked up, man. You gotta make this work." He goes, "Go steal one of the Jovi's clients." So he goes to Sony Entertainment or whatever to steal one of the Jovi's clients, and he finds Ray Liotta there, playing himself again, and picks up Ray Liotta, and takes him to the airport, and Ray Liotta leaves this prop gun, and FBI, a fake FBI badge with him, and says, "Can you take this back to the studio? I left this here." And so he says, "All right." And after he's driving back to Sony, Jessica Alba, who's the receptionist at the limo place, calls him up and says, "Well, we have this guy who's supposed to be. He gave us coordinates to pick him up. He's this eccentric billionaire dude who you'll likely get a lot of money for." And he goes, "All right, yeah, no, I can take care of that." And on the way to go pick that guy up, he gets stopped, and you find out that Stretch is slowly paying off a gambling debt that he owed, because before all of this, he was addicted to cocaine and had a drinking problem and a gambling problem. And now, he's been paying off his gambling debts, but now the guys are saying, "Okay, well, we want the rest of your money right now," which is $6,000. And so he figures picking up this eccentric billionaire dude will get his $6,000 paid off. So he goes to this coordinates. They won't even give him like an address. He just says, "Follow these coordinates." And in parachutes Kairos, the eccentric billionaire, played by Chris Pine, who, as ridiculous as this character is, Chris Pine just nails it. He just knocks it out of the park. He parachutes down naked, so if anybody wants to see Chris Pine's ass, this is the movie. He's got as Patrick Wilson describes it, a Rick Rubin beard, and it just looks fucking crazy. And so he drives Chris Pine to this weird eccentric party, and Chris Pine's like, "All right, I need you to go to this place for me, and to this other place in LA, and I need you to get a briefcase for me in 90 minutes. And if you can do that, I can probably help you with your $6,000." And so he's like, "Well, fair enough." And he goes to this meeting spot, and he gets this briefcase, and he uses the fake gun and badge that he forgot to turn in to get the briefcase. Little does he know, these people that are giving him this briefcase are actually FBI agents who really want to arrest Chris Pine. So, after a few twists and turns and him essentially waking up and, Stretch really just finding a way to get his life back together and, get out of this rut that he's stuck in, it's just this one thing after another, this crazy twist and turny night. Oh, I should mention, there's a character called Carl, who was a limo driver that Patrick Wilson worked with, who killed himself. He's played by Ed Helms, very funny guy, Ed Helms, and the funny thing about his character is that even though we know in the beginning that he's killed himself, Patrick Wilson keeps seeing him, hallucinating him in the backseat, talking to him, calling him an idiot, so he's sort of like the little devil on his shoulder, so to speak. So, all in all, Stretch has the FBI on him. He has his boss and the police on him because he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He has the Mexican mafia on him for the $6,000. And it all climaxes when Stretch finally makes it to this meeting site where he takes Chris Pine, because Chris Pine is essentially trying to escape the country because the FBI's after him. And everyone's there. The dudes that Stretch owes money to are there. the Jovi, the rival limo driver dude. He's there with his giant brother. You know, and oh yeah, you realize that the Jovi and Karos are actually the ones making a deal in order for Karos to get out of the country. But before anything goes down, the FBI swoop in, the cops swoop in, and so Stretch is like, oh shit, I'm going to jail, I gotta do something. So, as he sees that Karos, Chris Pine, is about to whip out a gun and start pistol whipping people, he takes his lighter and sets fire to this car that's leaking gasoline. It's his limo. And he takes the suitcase, which happened to be full of money, and just tosses it around because there's a whole bunch of people around. Car goes up in flames, money's flying all over the place, and essentially gives him enough of a distraction to escape. Oh yeah, this whole night he's been, even though all this crazy shit is happening, keeps talking to this girl who is supposed to be his blind date, and he keeps saying, oh, you know, I can't make it tonight because all this crazy shit happening. Let's meet in the morning at a little diner. And so he goes to this diner, totally forgetting about his blind date, totally just goes to this diner to meet with this FBI agent, and gives him this ledger that Chris Pine had that was the whole reason why the FBI wanted him in the first place. And that sort of clears him with the FBI. The FBI agent's like, you know, you're still sort of in a river of shit with your boss and the cops and everything. So I can't help you there, but you know, good luck, you know. And as he's texting this blind date, he's saying, you know, sorry, I totally forgot to get back to you. Are you at this restaurant now? And she says yes, and you find out that it's Jessica Alba. It's this little receptionist who's been worried about him all night. And, you know, they have a happy ending. They end up together. Joe Carnahan, you know, like I said, I've seen his other films. This one had a really good blend of comedy and action and just goofiness, you know. So anybody who just wants to watch a fun movie, you know, I mean, this is it. Again, I think this is sort of, you know, a launch pad for him, and because I think he's already proven that he can do action movies that aren't so serious. That he's proven that he can do action movies that are more dramatic. And this movie, I think, proved that he can, you know, have a really good story and do it well and not fuck it up, you know. So, I forgot to do this in my last review. I'm gonna give this a 4.5 out of 5 on my scale. For anybody, like I said, who wants to watch a fun movie, this is it. Check out Stretch. And just to close out, again, I'm going to be doing a drunk review. I'm not sure of what yet, but if anybody has any suggestions or what have you, leave them in the comments and I will check them out. Thank you for watching.